The champagne flutes catch the light from the crystal chandelier as I step into my daughter's Georgetown townhouse, and I know immediately I don't belong here. Elena's engagement party is everything she dreamed of. White orchids cascade from tall vases. A string quartet plays Vivaldi in the corner. 50 guests in designer clothes circle the room, their laughter practiced and light. I recognize a few faces from magazines, a congressman's wife, that tech entrepreneur who sold his company, someone who might be a news anchor. I'm wearing a navy dress from Macy's. It's clean, pressed, appropriate. But standing in Elena's marble foyer, clutching my carefully wrapped gift, I suddenly see myself through these strangers' eyes. Small, plain, forgettable. "Mom!" Elena's voice cuts through the music. She's stunning in ivory silk, her dark hair swept up, diamonds at her throat, but her smile doesn't reach her eyes. "You're early." The invitation said 7. I glance at my watch, a Timex, not the Cartier I keep locked away. It's 7:15. Right, of course. She doesn't hug me, doesn't take my coat, just stands there, blocking the entrance to her own party, looking past me like she's hoping no one noticed my arrival. Julian's family is here, and some important people from his firm. I'm sure they're lovely. I extend the small blue box. "I brought you something." Elena takes it mechanically, barely glancing at the Tiffany & Company logo. She doesn't know I had to special order these pearls from the Fifth Avenue store, that they cost more than most people spend on a used car. She thinks I maxed out a credit card. "You shouldn't have spent money you can't afford, Mom." The words sting more than she probably intends, or maybe exactly as much as she intends. A mother likes to give her daughter nice things. I keep my voice steady, though my chest is tightening. Especially for her engagement. "Monique?" A woman's voice, sharp and cultured, slices between us. What an unexpected name. The woman approaching is 70 if she's a day, but she wears her age like armor. Her silver hair is salon perfect. Her black dress probably costs more than my monthly rent. Everything about her screams old money, old power, old cruelty disguised as manners. "This is Patricia Hartwell," Elena says quickly. "Julian's mother." "Patricia, this is my mother, Monique Calloway." Patricia's eyes sweep over me, a scan so thorough and dismissive I feel it like a physical touch. "How charming. Elena, darling, I didn't realize your mother would be joining us tonight." "Of course she is," Elena says, but her voice wavers. "It's my engagement party." "Indeed." Patricia's smile is all teeth, no warmth. "Well, do come in, Monique, though I'm afraid the conversation might be a bit specialized. We're expecting the Vanderbilt Clarks, and Julian's business partners are discussing the South Beach development. Do you follow real estate?" "I read the papers," I say evenly. "How industrious." Patricia links her arm through Elena's, steering her away. "Elena, come. Judge Morrison wants to toast the happy couple." I watch my daughter being pulled into that glittering crowd like a prize being claimed. She glances back once. Guilty? Embarrassed? I can't tell anymore. The party moves around me like I'm a stone in a river. Guests sip champagne and discuss their vacation homes. Someone mentions a charity gala where tables cost $20,000. A woman in Chanel complains about how hard it is to find good help these days. I drift toward the windows, trying to be invisible. This is my daughter's world now. I should be happy for her. I should be proud. So why do I feel like I'm suffocating? "You must be Elena's mother." I turn to find a man in his mid-30s, handsome in that polished, expensive way that comes from good genes and better tailors. His smile is practiced, like everything else in this room. "I'm Julian Hartwell, your future son-in-law." He extends his hand and I shake it. His grip is firm, confident, just slightly too tight. "Elena's told me so much about you." "Has she?" I doubt that. Elena and I barely talk anymore. Stilted phone calls every other week. Texts that go unanswered for days. "All good things," Julian says smoothly. "She's very grateful for the sacrifices you made to give her a good education." Sacrifices. The word hangs in the air between us, and suddenly I'm back in those years. Working the diner's night shift, taking business classes online at 2 a.m., sleeping 4 hours a night so I could build something, create something, become someone, all while making sure Elena never knew we were anything but comfortable. A mother does what she has to do. I say quietly. Of course. Julian's eyes have already drifted past me, scanning the room. Well, I should circulate. Do help yourself to the canapes. The crab cakes are excellent. He's gone before I can respond, absorbed back into the crowd like he was never there at all. I find myself standing near the catering table, watching my daughter. Elena moves through the party with grace I taught her, confidence I paid for, ambition I encouraged. She's everything I wanted her to be, except kind, except grateful, except mine. Quite the party, isn't it? An older gentleman, bow tie, kind eyes, appears beside me. I'm Robert Morrison, Superior Court. Monique Calloway. I know, Elena pointed you out. He selects a crab cake, studies it with the same careful attention he probably gives testimony. She's a remarkable young woman. You must be very proud. I am. It's the truth, even if it hurts. Raising a child alone, that takes courage. Real courage, not the kind people talk about at cocktail parties. Judge Morrison meets my eyes, and for the first time tonight, I feel seen. My wife passed when our daughter was young. I know what it costs. Before I can respond, Patricia's voice rings out across the room. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may have your attention. The quartet falls silent. Guests turn, champagne glasses raised. Patricia stands at the center of the room like a queen addressing her court, one arm around Elena, the other around Julian. Thank you all for celebrating this joyous occasion with us. The joining of our two families is truly special. Patricia's gaze finds me in the crowd, holds for just a beat too long. Of course, we must acknowledge that every family has its own, unique story. Elena's path to this moment has been unconventional, shall we say, rising above humble beginnings through sheer determination. My face burns. Around me, guests shift uncomfortably. Some nod sympathetically, at Elena or at Patricia, I can't tell. But that's what makes tonight so meaningful, Patricia continues, her voice dripping with false warmth. Elena has found her place among people who understand the value of excellence, of tradition, of maintaining certain standards. She's worked so hard to get here, and we're honored to welcome her into our family. The applause is polite, scattered. Elena's face is flushed, whether from champagne or shame, I don't know. She doesn't look at me. Judge Morrison leans close. That woman is a shark in designer clothing, always has been. She's not wrong, though, I hear myself say. Elena did have humble beginnings. I gave her what I could, and it wasn't this. I gesture at the townhouse, the champagne, the crowd. Money isn't everything, Ms. Calloway. Tell that to my daughter. The party continues, but something has shifted. Guests keep glancing at me, some pitying, some curious, some merely confirming what Patricia has implied. I'm the before picture in Elena's transformation story, the struggling single mother she's outgrown. I should leave. I should slip out quietly and let Elena have her perfect evening with her perfect people. But I stay, rooted to the spot, watching my daughter laugh at jokes I don't hear, toast with people I don't know, build a life that has no room for me. Mom, Elena appears at my elbow, her smile strained. Can we talk? In the kitchen? I follow her through the swinging door, away from the party's noise. The kitchen is all marble and stainless steel, a magazine spread come to life. Elena leans against the counter, not meeting my eyes. I'm sorry about Patricia. She can be intense. She humiliated you, talked about you like you were a charity case. She meant it as a compliment. Elena's voice rises, defensive. She's proud of how far I've come. How far you've come from me, you mean? That's not... Elena stops, presses her fingers to her temples. Mom, can you please try to understand? These people, this world, it's important. Julian's family has connections, influence. They can help my career, help our future. And I can't. The silence stretches between us, filled with everything we're not saying. I didn't say that. But Elena won't look at me, and that tells me everything. Elena, sweetheart. I reach for her hand, but she pulls away. I know I'm not sophisticated like Patricia. I don't wear designer clothes or vacation in the Hamptons, but I love you. I've always loved you. Doesn't that count for something? Of course it does. The words are automatic, meaningless. But love isn't enough anymore, Mom. I need you to understand your place in all this. My place. As if I'm staff. As if 30 years of sacrifice has earned me a position somewhere below the caterers. What does that mean, Elena? What is my place? She finally meets my eyes, and what I see there breaks something deep inside me. Embarrassment. Resentment. The look you give a burden you can't put down. It means I need you to be more careful about what you wear, what you say, who you talk to. These people judge, Mom. They notice everything. And I can't, her voice cracks. I can't have them thinking I'm not one of them. Because of me. Because of our circumstances. Elena's hands clench. Do you know how hard it's been? Being the scholarship girl, the one who didn't summer anywhere, whose mother worked at a diner? I've spent years proving I belong. And I finally do. I finally found somewhere I fit. Why can't you be happy for me? I am happy for you. The lie tastes like ash. I just thought I'd be part of that happiness. You are, but you have to meet me where I am now, not where I was. Can you do that? The kitchen door swings open. Julian sticks his head in, all concern and charm. Everything okay in here? We're about to cut the cake. We're fine. Elena straightens, smooths her dress. Just having a mother-daughter moment. Julian's eyes flick to me, assessing. Monique, I hope Patricia didn't offend you earlier. She's just very protective of Elena. We all are. I'm her mother, I say quietly. I've been protecting her for 32 years. Of course, and you did a wonderful job. But Elena's part of our family now. We'll take care of her from here. He says it kindly, like he's doing me a favor, like he's relieving me of duty. Elena doesn't contradict him. We should get back to the party, she says, moving toward the door. Then, without looking at me, maybe you should head home, Mom. You look tired. I'll call you tomorrow. Being dismissed. In my daughter's kitchen. At my daughter's party. By my daughter's fiancé. Elena, please, Mom, just... Please. There are tears in her eyes, but I don't think they're for me. They're for the scene we're making, the awkwardness we're creating, the way my presence is ruining her perfect evening. I should fight. I should demand she remember who raised her, who sacrificed for her, who loved her when no one else did. But I don't. All right, honey, I hear myself say. I'll go. I collect my coat from the hall closet, ignored by the laughing guests who've spilled into the entryway. As I open the front door, I hear Patricia's voice ring out. Is she leaving? Oh, what a relief. The poor dear looked so uncomfortable. The laughter that follows me into the cold November air feels like knives. I walk 6 blocks before I realize I'm crying. My phone buzzes. A text from Elena. Thanks for understanding. Love you. 3 words that mean everything and nothing at all. I stand on the corner of M Street and Wisconsin Avenue, watching beautiful people stream in and out of restaurants I could never afford. Except I could afford them. I could afford all of them. I could buy the whole damn block. But Elena doesn't know that. No one knows that. And as I stand there, freezing and alone, I make a decision that will change everything. It's time they found out. My apartment is exactly what you'd expect. Rent-controlled 1-bedroom in a building that's seen better days, furniture from IKEA and estate sales, a kitchen barely big enough to turn around in. It's also completely fake. I keep this place for the same reason I keep the Timex watch and the Macy's dresses, because I decided 30 years ago that no one, especially not my daughter, would ever love me for my money again. The last time that happened, I almost didn't survive it. I pour myself a glass of wine. Not the cheap stuff from the corner store, but a 2015 Bordeaux I keep in my temperature-controlled wine fridge hidden in what looks like a broken freezer, and sit at my tiny dining table. My hands are still shaking. I need you to understand your place. Elena's words echo in my head, each repetition a fresh wound. My phone sits on the table between me and my wine glass. I should call someone. Sophia, my lawyer and oldest friend. Rachel, my accountant. Grace, who's been cleaning this apartment and knows all my secrets for 15 years. Instead, I walk to my bedroom closet and press the hidden panel at the back. It swings open to reveal a small safe. Nothing fancy, just a sentry safe from Home Depot. But what's inside would make Patricia Hartwell choke on her champagne. I pull out the files one by one and spread them on my bed. Callaway Consulting Group. Sale documents. $34 million to Vertex Private Equity, finalized last March. 40 years of work, 40 years of building something from nothing, reduced to a single number in a bank account Elena doesn't know exists. Property deeds, the Manhattan penthouse overlooking Central Park, the Miami beachfront condo, the Paris apartment near the Luxembourg Gardens, the Swiss chalet in Verbier, all purchased under an LLC, all maintained by property managers who've never met me in person. Investment portfolio, managed by Rachel, who's been with me since the beginning. Apple stock bought in 2003, Google in 2004, Amazon when everyone said retail was dying, Bitcoin when people thought it was a joke. Current value, $12.7 million. Bank statements. Accounts in Switzerland, the Cayman Islands, and 3 different American banks. All under my name, all legitimate, all invisible to anyone who thinks I'm just a struggling single mother. I sit among the evidence of my secret life and try to remember when it all began. Richard Hayes. That's when. That's always when. I was 25, fresh out of business school, running a small consulting firm out of a shared office in Boston. I'd inherited $2 million from my grandmother. Not a fortune, but enough to build something, to become something. Richard was handsome, charming, from a family that had lost everything in bad investments. He swept me off my feet with poetry and promises. 3 months later, he proposed. I said yes. 2 weeks before the wedding, I came home early and found him in my apartment with another woman. Not sleeping with her, something worse. They were going through my financial documents, laughing about how easily I'd fallen for the broke aristocrat routine. She's so desperate to be loved, Richard had said, holding up my bank statements. 50 grand for the wedding, another 50 for the honeymoon, and she'll probably give me access to manage her investments within 6 months. We could live off her for years. I stood in the doorway and felt something inside me turn to ice. I didn't cry, didn't scream, just walked in, called off the wedding, and kicked them both out. Then I spent 3 days in bed, shaking, wondering if anyone would ever love me for who I was, not what I had. 5 years later, I adopted Elena from foster care. She was 3 months old, abandoned at a hospital, no family willing to take her. The caseworker warned me, single mothers, especially working single mothers, usually couldn't handle it. I looked at that tiny, helpless baby and thought, she'll never have to wonder if she's loved for the right reasons. I'll make sure of it. So I created a double life. By day, I was Monique Calloway, hard-working single mom. I lived in this apartment, drove a 12-year-old Honda, worked administrative jobs that mysteriously always paid just enough to keep us comfortable, but not wealthy. By night, on weekends, during Elena's school hours, any moment she wasn't watching, I was M. Calloway, CEO of Calloway Consulting Group. I advised Fortune 500 companies on operational efficiency, invested aggressively, built an empire. Elena's Princeton tuition? Scholarships I funded through anonymous donations. Her year abroad in Paris? A program with financial aid I paid for through a shell company. Every advantage, every opportunity, every chance she got to succeed. I bought them all, then hid the receipts. I told myself it was protection. If she never knew about the money, she'd never have to question whether people liked her for herself. She'd never be used like I was used. She'd be safe. But tonight, standing in Patricia Hartwell's contempt, I saw the truth. I didn't protect Elena. I taught her to be ashamed. She thinks she clawed her way up from nothing through pure merit. She thinks she's better than her humble beginnings. She thinks she deserves to be in rooms I don't belong in. And I taught her all of that by lying to her every single day of her life. My phone buzzes. A text from Elena. I'm sorry tonight was awkward, but I hope you understand. This is really important to me. Important. Her engagement to a man I've never seen her look at with real love. Her entry into a world of people who judge everyone by their bank balance and their last name. I open my laptop, the expensive one I keep hidden under my bed, and pull up my private email. There's a message from Rachel. Just saw the news about the Hartwell Development Group. Thought you should know. Attached is a link to a Wall Street Journal article from 2 days ago. Major real estate developer faces multiple lawsuits over failed projects. I skim the article, my business mind processing information even as my heart is breaking. Hartwell Development Group has been sued by contractors, investors, and property buyers. Julian Hartwell personally is named in 3 lawsuits. The company is hemorrhaging money. Another email from Rachel. Want me to dig deeper? I type back. Yes, everything. And I want it yesterday. Then I call Sophia. She answers on the first ring. I've been waiting for your call since 8 p.m. What happened? I tell her everything. The party, Patricia, Elena's words, the dismissal. By the time I finish, I'm crying again. Deep, ugly sobs I've been holding back for hours. Oh, Moni. Sophia's voice is soft with sympathy. I'm so sorry. I made a mistake, Soph. A terrible mistake. I thought I was protecting her, but I was just making her into someone who could hurt me like this. You were trying to protect her from what Richard did to you. That's not wrong. But look where it led. I'm standing now, pacing my tiny bedroom, stepping over financial documents that represent everything I've hidden. She's ashamed of me. She thinks I'm poor and pathetic and not good enough for her new life. And I let her think that. So tell her the truth. And prove Richard right? That money changes everything? That I can't trust anyone, even my own daughter, to love me without it? I sink onto the bed, exhausted. I don't know if I can survive that confirmation. Sophia is quiet for a long moment. Then, what do you want to do? I look at the documents scattered across my bed. 30 years of secrets. 30 years of sacrifice. 30 years of loving someone who just asked me to know my place. I want to leave, I hear myself say. I want to disappear and let Elena have her perfect life with her perfect people. And I want to stop being someone I'm not. Where will you go? Switzerland. The chalet in Verbier. No one knows about it. I can think there. Figure out what comes next. For how long? I don't know. As long as it takes. I pause, and then the darkness in me, the part that's been growing all evening, speaks. But first, I want to know exactly who my daughter is marrying. And I want to make sure that if he hurts her, there are consequences. Moni, I'm not going to interfere, Soph. I'm just going to watch. Document. And if when this all falls apart, Elena will know that her pathetic mother saw it coming. That sounds like revenge. No. I gather up the documents, starting to file them back in order. Revenge would be exposing everything now. Revenge would be showing up at that wedding with my real bank balance and grinding Patricia Hartwell into dust. This is just insurance. Insurance against what? Against losing my daughter forever. My voice breaks. Because Sophia, if I don't do something, if I just accept this dismissal and fade away, she'll never look for me. She'll never question it. She'll just be relieved. You don't know that. Yes, I do. You didn't see her face tonight. She's already gone. The private jet touches down in Zurich at dawn. I haven't slept. Spent the 6-hour flight staring at my laptop screen, reading everything I could find about the Hartwell family. The chalet in Verbier is exactly as I left it 3 years ago. Pristine, isolated, with floor-to-ceiling windows that frame the Swiss Alps like a painting. It's the kind of place Elena dreamed about when she was young, back when we'd watch travel shows together and she'd say, "Someday, Mom, someday we'll go to places like that." I never told her I already owned one. I pour myself coffee from the Italian espresso machine and stand at the window, watching the sun paint the mountains gold. My phone buzzes. It's 2 a.m. in D.C., but Sophia doesn't sleep much either. Sophia, preliminary report is in. Calling you in 5. When she calls, I'm ready with my notepad, the one I use for business. Not the emotional mess from last night, but M. Calloway, CEO, the woman who built an empire by seeing problems before they became disasters. Tell me, I say without preamble. It's worse than we thought. Papers rustle on Sophia's end. James Porter worked fast. He's got sources at 3 different banks, plus a contact at the D.C. Superior Court. And Hartwell Development Group is 30 days from bankruptcy. They owe $4.2 million to contractors alone. The lawsuits aren't even the worst part. Those are just the people willing to go public. James found at least 6 other creditors who've been paid off with promises and NDAs. I write this down, my hand steady. What about Julian personally? Clean on paper. No criminal record, no obvious red flags. But here's where it gets interesting. Sophia pauses. 3 years ago, he was engaged to another woman, Samantha Chen, from a wealthy shipping family in Seattle. 6 weeks before the wedding, she called it off. James tracked her down. My stomach tightens. What did she say? That Julian was charming at first, attentive, but she noticed he was always asking questions about her family's business, trying to meet her father's associates. When she got suspicious and hired a PI, she found out Julian had been pitching investment opportunities to her relatives behind her back, using her name to get meetings. He was using her for access. Exactly. And when she confronted him, he didn't deny it. Just said everyone in their circle married for strategic reasons, that she was naive to think otherwise. I closed my eyes, seeing Elena's face last night. The way she looked at Julian, not with love, but with something closer to relief. Relief that someone from the right world had chosen her. There's more, Sophia continues. I tracked Julian's movements over the past 6 months. He started pursuing Elena right after a major deal fell through. His company lost $2 million on a South Beach development that never broke ground. That's when he suddenly became very interested in her marketing firm's networking events. He targeted her. Systematically. James has photos of him at 4 different industry mixers where Elena was speaking or attending. He did his homework, Moni. Figured out she was ambitious, climbing the ladder, desperate to prove herself in elite circles. The coffee in my cup has gone cold, but I drink it anyway. The bitterness matches my mood. What about Patricia? Patricia Hartwell is a piece of work. Sophia's voice drips with disdain. Old Virginia money, or what's left of it. The family lost most of their fortune in 2008. Patricia's been maintaining appearances on borrowed funds and social connections. The mansion is mortgaged to the hilt. She drives a leased Mercedes. Even her jewelry is fake. High-quality replicas, but fake. So the whole family is performing. Like Broadway actors. And they need Elena for the same reason Julian does. Access to new money, new investors, new opportunities. She's their fresh start. I stand and walk to the window, pressing my forehead against the cold glass. Does Elena have any idea? James doesn't think so. She's been investing in Julian's projects, though. About $80,000 so far from her savings. And Sophia hesitates. Moni, there's something else. Tell me. 2 weeks ago, Elena co-signed a loan. $300,000 for what Julian told her was a joint investment property. But the money never went to real estate. It went straight to paying off one of the lawsuits against Hartwell Development. My hand clenches around the phone. She's liable for that loan. Every penny. And if Julian defaults, which he will because the company is sinking, the bank will come after Elena. She could lose everything. Her savings, her credit, potentially her job if this becomes public knowledge. I think about Elena last night, so confident in her new world, so sure she'd made the right choice. She has no idea she's being used, no idea she's about to lose everything. Keep investigating, I tell Sophia. I want to know everywhere Julian goes, everyone he meets, every cent he spends, and I want eyes on Elena too. You want me to have her followed? I want to know if she's safe, if she's happy, if she's... My voice breaks. If she ever thinks about me. Oh, Moni. Just do it, please. I need to know she's okay, even if she doesn't need me anymore. After we hang up, I sit in the silence of my empty chalet and let myself feel it, the full weight of what I've discovered. My daughter is being conned. She's in financial danger, and she'll never believe me if I try to warn her, because I'm just her poor, embarrassing mother who doesn't understand her sophisticated new life. The irony would be funny if it didn't hurt so much. Grace calls me from D.C., her voice hushed like she's afraid someone will overhear. Mrs. Calloway, I thought you should know. Miss Elena had an argument with Mr. Hartwell today. Something about money. I'm in the middle of a video conference with my wealth manager in Geneva, but I mute immediately. What happened? I was cleaning the upstairs when I heard them. Mr. Hartwell asked Miss Elena to transfer $50,000 to his business account. Said it was for wedding expenses, but when she asked to see the invoices, he got angry. Said she didn't trust him. What did Elena say? She transferred the money. Grace sounds disappointed. But she was crying afterward. I found her in the bathroom and she asked me... Grace pauses. She asked me if I thought her mother was doing okay. My breath catches. What did you tell her? I said I hadn't heard from you since the party, that you probably needed space. Was I wrong to say that? No. I clear my throat, fighting back tears. You told her the truth. After Grace hangs up, I call Sophia again. I need James to track that $50,000 Elena just gave Julian. Every dollar. On it. But Moni, there's something you need to see. She emails me a video file. I open it on my laptop and my heart sinks. It's security footage from a restaurant in Georgetown. Julian is sitting in a corner booth with a blonde woman in her late 20s. They're not having a business dinner. They're holding hands across the table, laughing intimately. When the woman leans in to kiss him, Julian doesn't pull away. The timestamp is from 3 days ago, 2 weeks after his engagement to Elena. Who is she? I ask when I call Sophia back. Taylor Morrison. She works at Patricia's country club. James says they've been seeing each other for at least 6 months. The affair started before Julian even met Elena. Does Elena know? No indication she does. James says Julian's been very careful, only meets Taylor when Elena's at work or traveling. I watch the video again, feeling my anger build. It's one thing to use someone for money. It's another to humiliate them while doing it. Keep the evidence coming, I tell Sophia. I want everything documented, and I want to know the moment anything else happens. James Porter's daily reports become my routine. Every morning at 6 a.m. Swiss time, a new email arrives with photos, bank records, and observations. Day 15. Julian met with 3 investors at the Capitol Grill, pitched a guaranteed return Florida development that doesn't exist, used Elena's name to establish credibility, told them she's bringing her marketing firm's client base into the deal. Day 17. Wedding florist called Elena's office 6 times. Bills unpaid, threatening to cancel. Elena covered it with her personal credit card, $12,000. Day 19. Patricia hosting investor dinner at the mansion. Caterer arrived with groceries. Elena had prepaid. Guests included 3 of Julian's creditors. Overheard Patricia telling them, the future daughter-in-law is quite well connected. Day 21. Elena had lunch with David Walsh, her colleague. He appeared to be warning her about something. She left visibly upset. That last one catches my attention. I remember David from a company holiday party 2 years ago. Kind eyes, genuine smile, the type of man who actually asks how you are and waits for the real answer. I call Sophia. Can James find out what David Walsh said to Elena? 2 days later, I have my answer. David had run his own background check on Julian after hearing office gossip. He showed Elena what he found. The lawsuits, the failed developments, the mounting debt. He begged her to reconsider the wedding. Elena's response, according to a source who was nearby, "You don't understand. Julian's family is going through a temporary setback. That's what families do in their circle. They help each other through difficult times. I'm not going to abandon him when he needs me." The loyal daughter, standing by her man, using the exact logic I taught her about family loyalty, except she's giving it to a con artist instead of her own mother. I'm reviewing contracts in my study when Sophia calls, her voice urgent. James found something. It's bad, Moni. How bad? Julian isn't just in debt to banks and contractors. He borrowed $500,000 from a loan shark named Viktor Kozlov. Former Russian mob connections, now legitimate, but still dangerous. The money was due 3 weeks ago. My blood runs cold. What happens if Julian doesn't pay? Nothing good. James says Kozlov's people have already made contact. Subtle threats, intimidation. But here's the nightmare. Julian put up collateral. What collateral? The man has nothing. Elena's townhouse. He forged her signature on the deed transfer. If he can't pay by the wedding date, Kozlov takes the property. And if Elena objects, well... Sophia doesn't finish the sentence. I'm on my feet, pacing. She's in actual danger. Physical danger, yes. Financial danger, absolutely. And she has no idea any of this is happening. I need to tell her. She won't believe you, Sophia says gently. You know she won't. She'll think you're trying to sabotage her engagement because you're hurt. Patricia will spin it that way. So I'm supposed to just watch my daughter walk into a trap? No, but a direct warning won't work. We need to create a situation where she discovers the truth herself. I sink into my chair, mind racing. Sophia's right. If I show up now with accusations and evidence, Elena will see it as her poor, jealous mother trying to ruin her happiness. Patricia will paint me as unstable. Julian will play the victim. But if Elena discovers it on her own terms, in a way she can't deny. I need to come back to D.C., I say, quietly, under the radar. What are you planning? I'm going to attend that wedding, Sophia, not as the embarrassing mother in a Macy's dress, as myself, the real me, and I'm going to make sure Elena has all the information she needs to make an informed choice. That sounds suspiciously like revenge. No, I say firmly. Revenge would be exposing Julian publicly and humiliating Elena in the process. This is something else. This is a mother making sure her daughter sees the cliff before she jumps off it. And if she jumps anyway? Then at least I'll be there to catch her. The Hay Adams Hotel is 4 blocks from Elena's townhouse, 5 blocks from Patricia's mansion, and a world away from my shabby apartment. I check in under my maiden name, Monique Barrett, and ask for the presidential suite. The concierge doesn't bat an eye when I use my black Amex. Rich people come and go from this hotel every day. I'm just another wealthy woman with too much money and too much time. Sophia meets me in my suite that evening, looking impressed despite herself. I forget sometimes, she says, accepting a glass of wine, that this is actually your life, that you're not really the struggling single mom from that apartment. That apartment is as real as this suite, I tell her. I've just been living in one while pretending about the other. So what's the plan? I hand her a folder. We're throwing a party, 2 days before the wedding, here at the hotel, for select investors interested in luxury real estate opportunities in the DC metro area. Sophia flips through the invitation list. You're inviting Julian's creditors. Every single one, plus a few legitimate investors so it doesn't look suspicious. And Julian himself, of course. He won't be able to resist the opportunity. What about Elena? She's not invited. This is business, but I smile coldly. I have a feeling word will get back to her about what her fiancé says when she's not around. You're recording it. James is handling the technical details, audio and video, perfectly legal since it's my private event. Julian will feel comfortable surrounded by money people. He'll talk. They always do. Sophia studies me over her wine glass. You've changed. In just 3 weeks, you've become someone different. No, I correct her. I've stopped pretending to be someone I'm not. This is who I've always been. I just hid it from the world. From Elena. Do you regret that? The hiding? I think about my daughter's face at the engagement party. The shame in her eyes when she looked at me. The relief when I left. I regret that my choices led to her choices, I say slowly. I thought I was protecting her from gold diggers and social climbers. Instead, I taught her to be one. That's on me. So this is penance. This is a correction. I can't undo 30 years of lies, but I can make sure she knows the truth before she makes the biggest mistake of her life. James's reports show Elena unraveling. She's lost weight, stopped returning calls from old friends, spends her lunch hours alone staring at her phone. 3 days before the wedding, Grace calls me again. She's looking for you, Mrs. Calloway. She went to your apartment, tried calling your old number. She even called the diner where you used to work, asking if anyone had seen you. My heart aches. What did you tell her? Nothing. You told me not to have contact with her until after the wedding. But ma'am, Grace's voice cracks. She was crying. Real crying, the kind you can't fake. She kept saying I need to talk to my mom. I close my eyes, gripping the phone. Every instinct screams at me to call her, to run to her, to be the mother she suddenly wants. But Sophia's voice echoes in my head. If you show up now, she won't listen. She needs to hit bottom first. Stay the course, Grace, I tell her, hating myself. Just a few more days. That night I write a letter I won't send. Not yet. Dear Elena, I want you to know that even when you couldn't see me, I was watching. Even when you pushed me away, I was protecting you. Not because you deserved it. You didn't. Not after how you treated me. But because that's what mothers do. We love even when it costs us everything. When you read this, you'll know the truth about Julian, about his family, about the danger you're in. You'll also know the truth about me, who I really am, what I really built, how much I hid from you. I hope you'll understand why I did it. I hope you'll forgive me someday. But even if you don't, I need you to know this. You were worth every sacrifice, every secret, every lonely year of living a double life. You were always worth it. Love, Mom. I seal the letter in an envelope and give it to Sophia. If something happens to me before the wedding, Nothing's going to happen to you. If it does, make sure Elena gets this, and make sure she knows that everything I did for love. Sophia takes the envelope, her eyes wet. When did you become so dramatic? When my daughter told me to know my place. I turned back to the window, looking out at the city lights. Now I'm showing her exactly where that place is. The investor event at the Hay Adams is elegant, understated, and perfectly calculated. 40 people mill around the ballroom, drinking expensive wine and discussing market trends. Julian arrives exactly on time, Patricia on his arm. I watch from the mezzanine level, hidden behind a decorative screen. James has cameras positioned at every angle. Within an hour, Julian is holding court near the bar, pitching his exclusive opportunity to 3 men who are actually his biggest creditors. The wedding is just the beginning, Julian says, his voice carrying in the acoustically perfect space. Elena's network is gold. Her marketing firm handles 5 Fortune 500 companies. Once we're married, I'll have access to every CEO, every investor, every decision-maker she's been cultivating. One of the men laughs. Sounds like you're marrying a Rolodex, not a woman. In this world, what's the difference? Julian grins. Look, she's sweet. A little naive, a little desperate to fit in. Perfect, really. She'll do whatever I tell her because she's so grateful I chose her despite her. He waves his hand dismissively. Background. My fingernails dig into my palms. Every word is recorded. Every casual cruelty preserved forever. What about the mother? Someone asks. I heard she made a scene at the engagement party. Oh, that, Julian laughs. That's been handled. Elena barely speaks to her now. Apparently the old woman couldn't accept that her daughter outgrew her. It's sad, really, but convenient. Patricia joins the group, her voice sharp with satisfaction. The mother was a charity case. Did you know she worked at a diner? Can you imagine? No wonder Elena was so eager to join our family. She finally found people of substance. The conversation continues, but I've heard enough. I signal to James, who nods. We have everything we need. As I leave the hotel through a side entrance, I pull out my phone and text Sophia. It's done. Now we wait. Tomorrow, select clips from tonight's recording will be anonymously sent to 3 people. Elena's colleague, David Walsh, her old college roommate, and Grace. The day after, Elena will see them. And the day after that, her wedding day, she'll have to decide. Marry the man who thinks she's a naive Rolodex, or face the truth. Either way, her mother will be there. Watching, waiting, ready to catch her when she finally falls. Elena's colleague, David Walsh, receives an email from an anonymous sender at 6 a.m. By 6:15, he's called Elena 4 times. She doesn't answer. She's at a final dress fitting with Patricia. By noon, Grace has watched the video clips I sent her 3 times, tears streaming down her face. She forwards them to Elena with a single message. You need to see this before tomorrow. By 3 p.m., Elena finally checks her phone. I know the exact moment she watches the videos because James has eyes on her townhouse. He calls me at the Hay Adams, his voice tense. She just threw up in her kitchen sink. Now she's sitting on the floor, watching her phone over and over. Should I? No, I interrupt. Let her process it. Mrs. Calloway, she looks destroyed. Good. She needs to be, or she'll walk down that aisle tomorrow and destroy herself. I hang up and stand at my suite window, looking out at the city where my daughter is learning what betrayal really feels like. Part of me, the mother part that raised her, that kissed her scraped knees and scared away her nightmares, wants to run to her, hold her, tell her it'll be okay. But the other part, the part that's been humiliated, dismissed, and told to know her place, knows this pain is necessary. You don't learn to value real love until you've held the counterfeit in your hands. At 5 p.m., my phone rings. Unknown number. Mom? Elena's voice is wrecked, raw and broken and desperate. My hand trembles so hard I nearly drop the phone. Elena, I force my voice steady, cool. Not the warm mother she remembers. Someone different. How did you get this number? I called 20 hotels asking for Monique Calloway, Monique Barrett, M. Calloway, any variation I could think of. You're at the Hay Adams. A harsh laugh. Of course you are. The most expensive hotel in D.C. How can you afford? She stops. I don't understand anything anymore. What do you need, Elena? Silence. Then, someone sent me videos of Julian saying terrible things about me, about us, About, her voice breaks. About you, I see. That's it? That's all you're going to say? She's crying now, hard sobs that make her words almost incomprehensible. Mom, I don't know what to do. The wedding is tomorrow. Everyone's flying in. The venue is paid for. Except it's not. I paid for it. I paid for everything. And I don't even know if— Elena, stop! My voice cuts through her panic. What do you want from me right now? Permission to cancel? Reassurance that you should go through with it anyway? What? I want— She's quiet for a long moment. I want my mom. I want the woman who used to hold me when I was scared and tell me everything would be okay. That woman doesn't exist anymore. You made sure of that when you asked her to know her place. The words land like physical blows. I can hear Elena's sharp intake of breath. I'm sorry, she whispers. God, Mom, I'm so sorry. I was horrible to you. I said unforgivable things. But please, I need you. I don't have anyone else. You have Julian. You have Patricia. You have all those important people from your engagement party. I called David. Elena's voice is small. He said he tried to warn me. My college roommate, too. She said she always knew Julian was using me, but I wouldn't listen. And Grace, she just kept saying, I'm sorry, Miss Elena. I'm so sorry. They all saw what you refused to see. Because I was too busy being ashamed. Elena's anger flares, sharp and self-directed. Too busy pretending I was someone I'm not, trying to fit into a world that never wanted me in the first place. They just wanted what I could give them. Access, money, connections I didn't even have. So what are you going to do about it? I don't know. That's why I'm calling you. I close my eyes, fighting every maternal instinct. Elena, I can't make this decision for you. You're 32 years old. You chose Julian. You chose Patricia's world. You chose to push away the people who actually loved you. Now you have to choose what comes next. Will you— Her voice breaks again. Will you come? To the wedding venue tomorrow? Even if I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet? I need to know you're there. Every fiber of my being wants to say yes, wants to be the safety net I've always been, but she needs to stand on her own first. I'll be there, I say carefully, but not as your mother who fixes everything. I'll be there as a witness to whatever choice you make. Do you understand? I understand. A pause. Mom, I love you. I know I haven't shown it, but I do. I always have. We'll see, I say, and hang up before I can take it back. I sit in my suite, shaking, wondering if I've just made the right choice or the most cruel one. The Hay Adams ballroom is ready for a wedding that may or may not happen. I position myself in the mezzanine gallery where I can see everything but remain hidden. I've abandoned the Macy's dress for an elegant Armani pantsuit in deep emerald. My hair is styled, my jewelry real. I look like exactly what I am, a woman worth $46 million who doesn't apologize for it anymore. Sophia sits beside me, tablet in hand with all our evidence. James is stationed near the exits. We're ready for whatever happens next. Guests begin arriving at 2 p.m. I recognize faces from the engagement party, the congressman's wife, the tech entrepreneur, Judge Morrison. They're dressed in their finest, whispering among themselves about how romantic it all is. Patricia holds court near the altar, resplendent in lavender lace. Julian stands with his groomsmen, checking his watch nervously. His best man keeps asking him something, and Julian keeps shaking his head. 2:30 p.m. The ceremony should start. Elena hasn't arrived. 2:45 p.m. Guests are getting restless. Patricia's smile is rigid. Julian's face has gone white. 3 p.m. The doors at the back of the ballroom open. Elena walks in, but not in her wedding dress. She's wearing jeans and a sweater, her hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. No makeup. Her eyes are red from crying, but her spine is straight. The whispers turn to gasps. Ladies and gentlemen, Elena says, her voice carrying through the sound system. I'm sorry you came all this way, but there's not going to be a wedding today. Patricia surges forward. Elena, darling, you're just nervous. Let's get you into your dress and— No. Elena doesn't look at her. Her eyes scan the mezzanine level. She can't see me yet, but she's looking. I need to say something. All of you should know the truth. Julian tries to approach her, but Elena holds up a hand. Don't come near me. Elena, whatever you think you know, Julian starts. I know you're bankrupt. Elena's voice doesn't waver. I know you targeted me specifically because you thought I had connections you could exploit. I know about the forged documents, the illegal loans, the mistress you've been seeing since before we met. The room erupts. Patricia's face drains of color. Julian looks like he might bolt. I know, Elena continues, her voice growing stronger, that you called me naive, that you told your friends you were marrying a Rolodex, that you laughed about how grateful I was that someone like you chose someone like me. Judge Morrison stands up. Elena, do you have proof of these allegations? I do, Your Honor. Video, audio, financial documents, all of it will be provided to the appropriate authorities. Elena finally looks at Patricia. You knew. You helped him. You targeted me just as deliberately as he did. Patricia draws herself up. How dare you accuse? I dare because it's true. Because you looked at me and saw a mark. Someone so desperate to belong that she'd accept crumbs from your table and call it a feast. Elena's eyes are wet, but her voice is steel. Someone so ashamed of her own mother that she'd throw away the only person who ever really loved her. She's crying now, but still standing tall. Someone who forgot that dignity isn't about designer clothes or prestigious addresses or the right last name. It's about character. And I lost mine when I chose you over her. Over who? Someone asks. Over my mother. Elena's voice breaks. The woman I publicly humiliated because she didn't fit your definition of acceptable. The woman who worked 3 jobs to give me every advantage. The woman who... She stops, looking up at the mezzanine gallery. Who's here right now? Because even after everything, she still came. Even though I don't deserve it. I stand up slowly. Every eye in the room turns to me. Hello, Elena, I say quietly. The transformation renders people speechless. This isn't the plain woman in the Macy's dress. This is Emma Calloway in full armor, elegant, expensive, undeniably powerful. Mom? Elena stares like she's seeing a ghost. You look different than you remember? I begin descending the stairs, Sophia at my side with her folder of evidence. Let me introduce myself properly. I'm Monique Calloway, founder and former CEO of Calloway Consulting Group. I sold my company last year for $34 million. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Patricia actually staggers. I own properties in Manhattan, Miami, Paris, and Zurich. My investment portfolio is worth an additional $12 million. And contrary to what your future mother-in-law has been saying, I lock eyes with Patricia, I could buy and sell the Hartwell estate 3 times over before lunch. Julian finds his voice. That's impossible. Elena said you were poor, uneducated, a burden? I reach the main floor, standing 10 feet from my daughter. I let her believe that because I wanted her to love me for who I was, not what I had. Apparently, I taught her the opposite lesson. You lied to me, Elena whispers. My whole life you lied. Yes, I don't flinch. Because when I was 25, a man pretended to love me for who I was. 2 weeks before our wedding, I discovered he was only after my inheritance. It broke something in me. So when I adopted you, I decided no one, not even you, would ever know about my money until I was sure you loved me for the right reasons. And did I? Elena's voice is barely audible. Did I pass your test? The question hangs in the air between us, sharp and terrible. No, I say honestly. You failed, spectacularly. You chose status over substance. You were ashamed of the woman who raised you. You asked me to know my place. Elena flinches like I've struck her. But here's what I learned watching you these past weeks, I continue. I failed too. By hiding who I really was, I taught you that honesty was weakness, that showing your real self meant being vulnerable to rejection. I made you ashamed of struggle because I pretended it was all we had. That's on me. So we're both guilty, Elena says. We're both human. I hold out the envelope I've been carrying. These are all the documents proving Julian's fraud. Bank records, forged signatures, recordings from the investor event. It's enough to press charges if you want. Or you can walk away and rebuild. Your choice. Elena takes the envelope with shaking hands. What about us? Is there a choice there? That depends. I look at my daughter. Really look at her. I see the scared little girl I adopted. The ambitious teenager who dreamed big. The cruel woman who threw me away. And something new. a person trying to figure out who she really is. Can you love me without the money? Because that's where we have to start. Real love, not performance, not obligation, not gratitude, just truth. I don't know, Elena admits. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know what's real. Then figure it out. I turn to leave. When you do, if you still want a relationship with me, we'll start over. From scratch. No lies, no pretending, no shortcuts. We'll see if there's anything worth saving. Mom, wait! I stop but don't turn around. Thank you, Elena says, for coming, for the evidence, for... Her voice breaks. For still protecting me even when I didn't deserve it. That's what mothers do, I say quietly. Even when it costs us everything. The cafe in Georgetown is small, unpretentious, the kind of place I would have actually frequented before I started performing poverty. Real me, real choices, real coffee that I pay for with the credit card I don't hide anymore. I'm reading the newspaper, actual paper, because some habits die hard, when someone slides into the chair across from me. Hi, Elena says. I look up. She's thinner than she was at the wedding, but healthier somehow. Her hair is shorter, more practical. She's wearing clothes I recognize as her own style, not Patricia's idea of appropriate. Hi, I reply, setting down my paper. We sit in awkward silence. 6 months of no contact, my choice, enforced firmly. And now here she is, holding a cup of coffee like a shield. I got a job, she says finally, at a nonprofit. They help first-generation college students navigate financial aid and career planning. The pay is terrible. Do you like it? I love it. A small smile. I work with kids who remind me of, well, who I thought I was. Except they're not ashamed of where they come from. They're proud. That's good. More silence. Elena traces patterns on her coffee cup. Julian's in prison, she says. 18 months for fraud and document forgery. Patricia lost the mansion. She's living with her sister in Richmond now. I heard. From your private investigator? I don't deny it. I wanted to make sure you were safe. I am. I'm living in a studio apartment in Columbia Heights. I got a used Honda. I'm learning to cook because eating out is too expensive. She laughs, but it's not bitter. I'm living the life I always thought you lived. And you know what? It's not so bad. No, I agree. It's not. Sophia came to see me. Elena looks up, meeting my eyes for the first time. She showed me everything. The business you built, the properties, the investments. She explained why you hid it. And I understand. Not, she pauses, choosing words carefully. Not that I agree with it. I think you should have told me. But I understand the fear that drove it. Because I've been living with my own fear for 6 months. Fear that I destroyed the only real relationship I ever had. My throat tightens, but I don't speak. I've been in therapy, Elena continues, learning about why I did what I did. The shame I carried. The need to prove myself. How I confused achievement with worth. She takes a shaky breath. My therapist says I spent so long trying to become someone worthy of love that I forgot I was already worthy. That you loved me before I accomplished anything. I did, I say softly. From the moment I held you. I threw that away for people who didn't care about me at all, for a life that was never real. Tears spill down her cheeks. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry for all of it. The cruelty, the dismissal, choosing them over you. I can't take it back, but I need you to know I'd do anything to make it right. You can't make it right, I tell her gently. Some things can't be fixed, only rebuilt, differently. So where do we start? I consider this. 6 months ago, I thought I could never forgive her, that the betrayal was too deep, the words too cruel. But watching her now, vulnerable, honest, changed, I realize something. I've been waiting for a perfect apology, for her to become someone who deserves my forgiveness. But that's not how love works. Love isn't earned through perfection. It's chosen despite imperfection. We start here, I say, gesturing to the table between us. With coffee, with truth, with no expectations except honesty. Just coffee? For now. Maybe next month, lunch. Next year, who knows? I reach across the table, stop inches from her hand. Not touching yet, but close. We'll figure out what we are to each other. Not mother and daughter by default, but by choice. We'll build something new. Elena's hand moves slowly toward mine. Our fingers brush, hesitant, testing. I don't expect you to forgive me, she whispers. I don't expect you to forget what I did either, I reply. Lying to you for 30 years, that was wrong. I see that now. We both made choices that hurt each other. So what are we? We're two women who loved each other imperfectly, I say. And we're deciding if that's enough to try again. Elena's hand closes around mine. It's not a hug, not reconciliation, just contact, connection, a beginning. Mom? Her voice is small, vulnerable. Thank you for not giving up on me. I thought about it, I admit. After the engagement party, I wanted to disappear forever, let you have your life without me. Why didn't you? Because underneath all the anger and hurt, I'm still your mother. And mothers don't abandon their children, even when those children abandon them first. I squeeze her hand gently. Even when it costs us everything. We sit like that for a long time, hands touching across the table. Not quite comfortable, but not quite strangers either. Outside the cafe window, Georgetown moves around us. People rushing to appointments, living their lives, chasing their own versions of happiness. Can I ask you something? Elena says. Anything? The chalet in Switzerland, the one Sophia told me about. Is it as beautiful as the pictures? I smile. More beautiful. The sunrise over the Alps is something you have to see to believe. Maybe, Elena hesitates. Maybe someday you could show me. Maybe, I say, when we're ready, when we've earned that with each other. How will we know when we're ready? I think, I say slowly, we'll know we're ready when we can be together without keeping score of who hurt whom worse. When we can just be present without the past drowning us. Elena nods, understanding. That could take a while. I have time. Do you? Yeah. She smiles, real and genuine, the smile I remember from when she was small. I have time. We finish our coffee in companionable silence. When Elena stands to leave, there's an awkward moment where we both try to figure out the goodbye. A hug feels too soon, a handshake too formal. Elena settles for squeezing my shoulder. Same time next week? I'll be here. She pauses at the door, looking back. I really am sorry, Mom, for everything. I know, I say. And I'm sorry, too, for the secrets, for testing you instead of trusting you, for my part in all this. So we're even? No, but maybe we're both learning. After she leaves, I sit with my cold coffee and my newspaper I'm not really reading. My phone buzzes. A text from Sophia. How did it go? I type back. We had coffee. We held hands. We didn't fix 30 years in 30 minutes. But it's a start. And maybe a start is enough. I pay for my coffee with my real credit card using my real money and walk out into the DC afternoon. Somewhere in this city, my daughter is learning to be herself. And somewhere in Switzerland, I have a chalet waiting in case either of us needs refuge. But for now, we're both right here, in the messy middle. Not broken anymore, but not healed either. Just two women learning that love doesn't mean never hurting each other. It means choosing to stay even after the hurt. Choosing to rebuild. Choosing to believe that something scarred can still be beautiful. I don't know if Elena and I will ever be what we were. The innocence is gone. The blind trust is ashes. But maybe what we're becoming is better. Love based on truth, not performance. Connection earned through honesty, not obligation. As I walk home, to my real home, the penthouse I've finally moved into, I think about the mother I was and the woman I'm becoming. Neither one is perfect, but both are real. And after 40 years of hiding, real is enough.